Say, I've been meaning to ask you whether or not you read Pope Benedict's letter castigating Pope Francis for letting go of objective reality.
Well, he didn't write it to me, so no, I haven't read it.
Oh, okay. Well, he should write it to you. He should write
Oh, okay. Only if you translate it from Latin. What did he say in his letter?
Well, in the letter, he puts the blame for the pedophile priest problem
on postmodernism.
Well, actually, postmodernism is way in the background. It's actually what I've been telling you and what I've been telling our viewers for a long time. Vatican Council #2. He said that Vatican Council #2 is the problem. Vatican Council #2 downplay the dogmatic role of the church and emphasize the pastoral role of the church. So changes were coming forward with three major things. Homosexuality was now okay and welcome in the church. Abortion was a matter of, go get a priest, go find a priest who approves of your abortion, and less dogmatism and more pastoral Protestantism.
Okay, so basically they're telling Catholics to be, Frankie is telling priests to be pastors, or basically Protestant pastors.
Protestant pastors,
Episcopalian Protestant pastors.
No, Scandinavian Protestants, by the way. Yeah.
There we go.
And so the letter that Benedict sent out chastised Frankie and all of the Vatican people who engineered the pedophile priest shell game of moving priests around who were guilty of sexual abuse of children. Benedict castigates these individuals by saying, look, if there's going to be a Catholic Church, it has to be Catholic, not Protestant, and it has to get back to dogma. And this dogma has to be objective. It can't be subjective. So
let me ask you a question on a broader scale.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the Catholic Church was ever good as Catholic, or do you think that them moving to become more Protestant is a good thing?
I think it's a bad thing for the church to try to become more Protestant because we already have better Protestants than we have Catholics. Okay, Protestants, they have branded themselves as being socialists, as being Marxist. They have branded themselves as being more concerned with feelings and love and peace and harmony and forgiveness and all this emotional, psychological stuff. And the Catholics are trying to emulate that, and they're doing a very, very bad job. The Protestants are light years ahead at capturing the psychology. And what's happened here is a shift in the metaphysics.
Well, explain, what is a metaphysics? Is
okay.
The biggest word I've ever learned is metamorphosis. That was the biggest preschool word I've ever learned.
Yeah.
Now you got metaphysics. What is all this meta stuff?
Well, you should have studied metastasizing as well, too, and probably mammogramming. That's another one for you. They all begin with M. Anyway, so scratch any theology and you're going to find a metaphysics, okay? Scratch any theology and there's a philosophy underneath. All right. The biggest shift that's happened last century was moving theology and therefore moving philosophy into the area of psychology. You'll notice that prior to the last century, I would say between World War I and World War II, God was defined as an objective reality. There was an objective reality, and the metaphysics of the philosophies of the Middle Ages, especially Thomas Aquinas, still held sway. After the Second World War, we begin the decline of objective metaphysics. Objective philosophy declines. When objective philosophy declined, objective theology went along with it, because every theology needs a theology as a skeletal structure. That's why I say you scratch any theology and you're going to find a philosophy underneath. And the problem with the Catholic Church is they have abandoned objective metaphysics. They do not believe in objective reality, truth, goodness, or beauty, as formulated by Plato, Aristotle, all of the Middle Age thinkers and theologians. And it's not until after Martin Luther that we have this progression of Protestant theology moving towards feelings and moving towards subjectivity.
So basically,
to
explain all that, we used to be talking about what's real. Now we talk about what we feel.
Exactly.
Before it's
Yep.
what we think, now it's
Yep.
what we feel.
Right.
In the
All our
simplest of terms.
in the very simplest terms, that's exactly what's happened. And all the stuff we talk about with the postmodernists and with the social justice warriors and with the degradation of silly college and higher education and public education, it's all going down the toilet. Why is it going down the toilet? Because nobody's interested in discussing objective reality, truth, goodness, and beauty. They're only interested in talking about feelings, especially hurt.
Well, of course, it's that requires you to actually dig down beneath what you feel.
Exactly.
It's very easy to tell you how you feel. It's very easy. Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't bang the desk.
But to tell you what you think requires you to actually have a sense of logic.
Well, I
know it's the most basic.
I was talking to our friend Troy Royden about this over texting, and it's really interesting. In the Middle Ages, the philosophers and theologians of the Middle Ages, they distinguished between two levels of knowing. This is where epistemology meets metaphysics. And the two levels of knowing were ratio, R-A-T-I-O, like we get the word reasoning or rational. We get the word rational from it. Ratio, which means we work at getting knowledge. We use logic and we use evidence to get new knowledge, right? That's ratio. There's another form of knowing called intellectus. Intellectus, okay, is where you simply appreciate the essence of things. As Heraclitus said, for instance, when you look at a sunset, you don't need words. You don't even use words. You don't use logic. You don't use evidence. Your senses immediately inform you of the beauty, the objective beauty of a sunset. Okay? Conversely, when you see a baby bayoneted on a battlefield, immediately you perceive the essence of evil, bad thing right there. Okay? And so this is we were talking to Troy about the fact that, and he agrees that modern theology, especially Catholic theology, has degraded because they're simply following the Protestant lead into the area of psychology. God now lives in the area of psychology. He's been driven out of the area of physics, driven out of the physics department, and he's now taking up residence in the psychology department.
Out of interest, do you believe that true Protestantism is to keep God in the psychology department? Is that the end? You really think so? Really?
Yeah.
I know quite a few Protestants that would very much be greatly, and only the traditional Protestants or the people that or Protestants are really the people that are desperately trying to go back to the first century church. Mm-hmm. There's talk about that the Catholics act like they're already the first century church.
They don't.
A lot. Okay.
The Vatican is not.
I've met a lot of self-righteous Catholics. But
the Vatican is not first century. Come on, it's a monarchy.
Well, I hope that people recognize that. But the Protestants really are the ones that are desperately trying to get back to the first century essence of the church. Yeah. They are not into the psychology.
Yeah.
Not at all. In fact, I'm greatly offended that you would dare infer that. I would say that, for example, Francis Schaeffer, he's a huge critic of the fact that postmodern or relativistic Christianity or liberal, whatever, progressive Christianity, whatever term you want to use, is shifting away from theology, is kicking God out of the theology department into the psychology department. That isn't, believe me, my friend, that is an issue across all denominations.
No, I agree with you because the theologians you're talking about is only half of the equation. I was talking about the New Age theologians.
Oh, don't let them be the representative.
Well, okay, but we have to account for them because here in Santa Bumpkin, if you go to any of the Santa Bumpkin churches, right, that are not scriptural based, but are feeling based, like some of the Methodists, some of the Presbyterians, even some of the Baptists, they are completely have left Scripture and revelation and logic and evidence behind, and they're just about your feelings. That's all they preach.
I don't know how much time we have left.
We got about a minute and a half.
Okay, well, I will actually love to.
You wrap it up for us.
Yes. Okay. My wrap-up of this is that the next one we're going to do is going to be on the progressive Christianity and its relationship with Pete Buttigieg. that guy.
Oh,
And
Butter Gauge.
yes, we will talk if he actually is a fair representation on where Christianity is going and the future of Christianity.
Yeah, we have to
in
talk
America.
about that guy. We got to talk about that guy because.
See you tomorrow, guys.
All right, we'll see you
Bye.
later. Thanks, Alex. Have another drink, okay?